You hit play, and here we are at the Journey Jukebox, a big blend radio travel podcast featuring Lisa Evans, a travel writer, photographer, travel advisor, and the author of 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You Die. Welcome, everyone. It is time for another journey. We've got the Journey Jukebox going on. We got music coming up, in more music to add to the playlist on Spotify. So look in the episode links, and we're getting ready for a cruise. That's where Lisa's taking us today. She's wearing her travel advisor hat and going to be telling us all about a cruise, a New Year's cruise where you could be waking up in Belize on New Year's Day. Is it Belize that you wake up in? She'll tell us what's going on, but there's this awesome cruise that she's put together for the end of the year. And what better way to kick off the new year where you're being served, you're not cooking, you're not cleaning anything up, and you're going to be in warm, beautiful, tropical weather with good music and maybe a Bahama Mama or something. I'm saying this sounds pretty good. Lisa, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So this is Costa Maya, Belize, and Cozumel is where you're going in the Caribbean.
Yes, yes, I am.
I like this. So
yeah, me too.
How many people are you taking, or do you have room for?
Well, being a travel agent, I can set aside room blocks and then, put them at a discounted rate and then sell them through up until, a certain cutoff time. Now, the cutoff time for this particular cruise that I'm going on is the end of June. So I still have rooms available, and I have a variety of different types of rooms, because anybody that's been on a cruise knows there's pretty much a cruise for everybody, B, a price point for everybody. You can, go on a budget cruise and still have a great time, or you can treat yourself and go on a severe luxury cruise where you don't have to lift a finger. So it's, when you're thinking about cruising, it's all about the experience you want and the destination. Basically, there's three things. Where do you want to go? Yeah, obviously, what time do you want to go? What's your budget? And what type of an experience you want. So for me, I just want to go on a cruise and just enjoy the destinations where I'm going to. I don't want to do anything too strenuous, but I do want to do something, pretty cool in the place that I'm at. As far as the level of cabin, I don't go for the interior, which is obviously the least expensive. I like to have my balcony. So, and in this particular cruise that I'm going on, I actually have a mini suite with a balcony. So I'm really treating myself. But nice. I have available different types of rooms in my allocation. I still have a mini suite. I have deluxe balconies. I have just a plain old balcony, and then I have an interior. So everything depends upon your budget and, where you want to go and what you want to do.
Yeah, I like that. I want the balcony. I do.
Yeah, me too. On the cruise that I just went to a few months ago, it was a balcony, and I can't tell you how cool it is to stand out on your balcony at 11 o'clock at night and just watch, you're just watching the moon, you're watching the stars, the water, everything. And even when you're in a port, you can be in your room. You could have like one day that I went into Nassau on my previous cruise. We left port. We were scheduled to leave port at like 6 o'clock. So you got to be back on the ship, like by 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then you could just stand out on your balcony and just watch. And you can watch as you're coming in, as you're leaving. It's just, I now that I have done it, I would not do anything without a balcony. That's for sure.
So there, everybody. She wants a balcony. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's the joy of it. It's like, I know people that travel cruising, they love it. It's like a huge part of it. You're not driving. So it's, there's a lot of stress taken off your shoulders when you're not the one at the wheel. But even train travel is kind of like that, where you could sit and do some work. And apparently the internet's a lot better on cruise ships now. So you can, if you want to work remotely while you're sailing, you can. but
Yep,
maybe you don't want
absolutely.
to work, but
Yeah,
some
I was
people
gonna say,
do.
I would hope that if you're on a cruise, you don't, I mean, yes, the internet, because you want to be able to post pictures and show your friends and text them and whatever, which is precisely what I did. But, as far as work, I mean, yes, you can, but it's nice to just check out. I mean, I know a lot of people that it's kind of a working, kind of, they work when they can, but then they enjoy it. And you can do just about anything you want on a cruise. That is one of the things I absolutely love about it. And when I encounter people that have never cruised and have said, "Oh, I don't know if I'll like it. I don't know if I'll be want to be confined on a boat with thousands of people," which is a valid. Like I prefer I like the mid-size, the
Mm,
ones where maybe there's 3 or 4 thousand, but you can go on ships where there's 900 to 1,000. Those are more like adventure and expedition. You can go on the big, gigantic ones that have 7,000 people. It's all in what you want to do, what you want to experience, and how you want to experience it. Because one thing on a cruise is you're going to meet people of all walks of life, which is pretty cool. And you're going to meet families, you're going to meet solo cruises, you're going to meet couples. It's really interesting, but it's all in what you want. And a good travel advisor will do just that. That's one of the first three questions you ask. Where do you want to go? What's your budget? And what type of an experience do
mm.
you want? Do you want a fun cruise? Do you want an adults only cruise? Do you want to go
Yes,
on a Galapagos
adults
adventure,
only.
which yeah,
Sorry, I
I
just
mean,
got
I'd
all.
love to go on a Galapagos adventure. I think that
Oh
would be
my God,
cool.
yeah, yeah, that would
But
be. Oh, oh,
you
yeah.
could pretty much do anything you want.
You got me thinking here now, like all like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, it's true,
Mhm.
being able to choose it and then think today's world, we're all so busy and you can sit and do all the research. And I know some people use, AI for travel planning.
Yep,
Ah,
they do.
um, but I like to hear of people who know what they're talking about where to go. That's why I think travel writers and travel authors and journalists are so important because they give you the feel, the sense of place about where you're going. They tell
Right.
you the hidden stories, the hidden gems. And I think that's the same thing. I was saying you're wearing your travel advisor hat, but I think you're still being a travel writer hat because it's
Hmm.
all about helping people have these incredible experiences in their lives and making it easier so that you're not sitting there over planning to a point of it's become a chore because going and planning for it should be fun. And I think that's where travel advisors come in and really help, so, they help, but
Well,
I want to touch on the money part of it too about having a travel advisor because from what I know, travel advisors help you save money versus trying to do it all on your own.
that's correct. First and foremost, we'll start with just the time. I know a lot of people, and trust me, I have people in my family that says, "Oh no, I'll just go on the internet and do it myself." Okay, great, but your time is still valuable. So are you going to, and anybody that's ever planned a trip knows how quickly it is to go down a rabbit hole. Oh, I might want to do this. Oh, I might want to do that. It's not as simple as going in and, picking and picking. I mean, it is, but if you really want a good experience, you want somebody. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I am, the be all know all Wonder Woman. But I know enough of where to look and the deals that I can get for clients. I also have a group of people that, a lot of the agents that I know and work with, they go to Europe like I mean, my ultimate is I want to take a cruise to Europe. Through
Mm,
Europe. To me, that just sounds so much fun. And I don't necessarily have the firsthand knowledge, but I have enough people around me that I can, pull information from. So maybe I don't know the answer, but I can find the answer. And that's what it's all about, customer service for as far as a travel advisor. Because number one, it's saving you time. You're not spending 4, 5, 6 hours of your time when maybe you could be out doing something else. That's why you use a travel advisor. Number two, it doesn't cost you a dime to use a travel advisor. The only time it may cost you something is if the advisor charges a service fee, because one of the things most travel advisors won't do is airlines, because anybody that's traveled knows airline travel's interesting. There are some all-inclusive resorts, cruise lines, whatever, that have their own airline company, I guess. And if you could actually, you go on a cruise and you could include your airfare and everything, and all you got to do is come up with those three things. And a good travel advisor will get you everything you need. And they'll save you money. They can tell you like little things, just like a travel writer would, where if you go to a place that's like they say go where the locals go kind of thing. So you could
Hmm.
get that insight and that information. And it's just basically it's a service industry, and it's all in the service that is provided. So that's why once you use a travel advisor and realize that basically all you got to do is answer a few questions, let them do the legwork, let them do the research, and then come back to you. And give you options. Like, they'll give you two or three. Well, again, I do when I do it, I give people like two or three options, because, you might like something and they might think something else is cool. So if you give them two to three options and then say,
Hmm.
okay, pick one. And then once they pick one, then you fine line and dig even further. But basically what a travel advisor saves you is time, money, and headaches, because they're the ones that are dealing with the research and finding out the little cancellation processes. And that's what catches up with a lot of people is they don't read the fine print. So
Mm,
it's all in what the service that is provided.
exactly, the fine print. And that I don't want to read the fine print.
There you go. Most
Sorry.
people don't.
Yeah, but it's important that someone is there to guide you, because especially when you're going internationally, there's stuff to know.
Yes.
About visas. Do I need one? Do I not? Do I have the right paperwork to leave the country? Do I need a passport? What kind of passport do I need? This
Hmm.
kind of thing is important, especially if you're going to Canada from the US. I'm just going to say it's one of the hardest countries to actually get in and out of, depending on what your background is, you know?
Correct.
Yeah, I've had friends being detained in coming back and going there, and they
Well, and
really didn't do
now
anything.
And now in the state of the world as it is currently, there's all kinds of things you got to look into and look out for. I mean, even
Yeah.
even my cruise that I booked, this cruise that I booked, now, I booked it like months and months ago to secure the good rates that I have. And now I got to do some more research, because it does go into Mexico. So there's new regulations, I guess you'll call it, or and fees and things of that nature, because of the state of
Yeah.
the world right now. So
Yeah, it's good to plan ahead too, and get things
correct,
booked in, right? Because things could change. So
they
so
do.
you get discounts, but you're not adding on top of that, right? So you
No,
get paid from the other people. The
correct,
client is not necessarily paying you anything, right? Tell me if
right.
I'm wrong, because I don't want to mess that up.
No, no, no. The clients, like I said, the only fee a client would incur if their advisor does is like a service fee. There are some people, like, let's just say I get a random bop off of internet. You don't know. There's so many bots out there. So usually if you say you charge it, or if you have a client that says one thing and then changes their mind four or five times, that is, our time is as valuable as yours. So if you don't give the proper information on the first time, and you want somebody to do, go back, keep going back time after time after time and changing things up, an advisor might tack on a small service fee for their time, $75 to, they might give you an initial quote, and then, changes for one or two. But if you go into the five, six, seven times you're changing it, there, you could incur a service fee, because it's their time that they spent digging into it. Other than that, no, travel agents do not charge anything. Just as hotels and all inclusives and everything in the travel industry, the agents get paid by the places you're going. It has
Mm,
nothing to do with the customer. Unless there's a service fee tacked on. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing. So realistically, you're taking advantage as a client, you're taking advantage of the advisor's knowledge of the places, things to do, what they can tell you, and advisors are given ways to save your client money. Like on the, we're talking about this cruise in December. Because I booked my allotment of rooms many, many months ago, I have those prices locked in at those rates, which anybody that's ever been cruising, the farther ahead you book, the less expensive the price. So
Mm.
I have rates from when I booked my allotment that on the last time I checked, I think my rates that I can offer people are on an average of 35% lower than what you could get if you today went and hopped on their website to book a cruise.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
You go, girl.
that's the good thing about booking with an agent that has room allotments already set aside. We have a lot of affiliations with the big travel networks. And again, the farther ahead you book, the less your pricing is going to be. So, and we also know when new ships are being christened and the deals that come with that. And there's other things
Hmm.
like onboard credit that we could secure or special amenities that we could secure based upon our total amount of business that say we give to Princess Cruise Lines. Because our agency is a very large contributor of a certain cruise line, then they afford the agents within that agency, the ability for some discounts, some additional discounts. So, that's we're playing on the relationships that we have to get our customers discounts.
So the other thing, let's look at this one coming up for going for New Year's, right? A Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
cruise. Ooh, I mean, cue that music. You got some Bob Marley for this?
Yes.
We got
Bob
Bob
Marley. You can't
Marley.
have, you got to have Marley.
Man, Bob Marley is everything, you know. So we got Bob Marley and the Waivers jamming. Oh, once I start hearing that, you know what it is? Natural Mystic. When I hear that, that's once I start hearing that, I'll take
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the day off, man.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know. And then you have Happy. You have the Happy song in there. We like Happy.
Yeah, because
Um,
anytime I hear vacation or a cruise, I'm very happy.
yeah, and I love that song. It's positive. You know, we like
Yeah,
that.
and we need a lot more positivity.
Yes, we do. I do. I agree with that. Um, Now with this itinerary, so tell everybody like a general overview of, you know, you start out in Fort Lauderdale, right? And then go from
Yes.
there and what's the rundown and are there you know, when you stop somewhere, can you get off and, you know, go have a
Oh,
Bahama Mama or
yes.
something? You know,
Oh,
let's get to
yes.
the most important thing, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, it's going to be right after Christmas. I leave out of Fort Lauderdale on
She
December
heard the word
28th.
Bahama Mama and just had
Yeah,
one,
there
didn't
you
even
go.
know it.
Out of Fort Lauderdale on the 28th. So I believe our boarding time is like 5 o'clock. So, you get into Fort Lauderdale, hang out, whatever, as long as you're on the cruise ship. Like I was on the cruise ship last time, like hours in advance because I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let's go. So it
Mm,
pulls out of Fort Lauderdale on the 28th. The 29th, you're at sea. So, you spend the day on the ship, looking at all the amenities, the entertainment, everything. I mean, let's face it, a cruise ship is a floating everything. You can find anything you need on a cruise ship. So the 29th is at sea. The
hmm
30th, the stop is in Costa Maya. And
mm,
so at each of the stops, they offer different shore excursions. Again, depending upon what you want to do. Yes, the shore excursions do cost extra money if you are so inclined. Or, you know what? You don't want to. You want to sit on the ship and just look at the view and swim all day or hang out at the bar, whatever. But I think most people like to get off. I know I do. I like to get
hmm
off in the different ports and just explore because again, putting back on my travel writer hat, you can be sure that after this cruise, I'll be spitting out some articles about each of these cities and what I liked and what you can do, that kind of thing. So the shore excursions, you can decide well ahead of time the cruise line generally gives you all the guidelines, and everything is, I guess the word is, sanctioned by them. So it's not like you're off on your own. You sign
Mm.
up, they're reputable places, they're reputable people that you're going with. They're all vetted by the cruise lines, that type of thing. So the 30th you're in Costa Maya, and I'm trying to debate. I'm dying to see some Mayan ruins. So I don't know if I'm going to do it in
Cool.
Costa Maya or Belize, but I can tell you, I'm going to do some of the Mayan ruins at one of those cities. And again, it's all in what you want to do, the experience you want to have. There's something for everybody, or again, stay on ship if you want to. That's fine too. So the
Mm.
30th is in Costa Maya. The 31st is in Belize City. So the Belize Zoo, I'm dying to go to the Belize Zoo. I know I've never been to an international zoo, so I'm very curious
And
as,
yeah.
as how that is. I know some people are for zoos, against zoos. I guess I just want to see, and again, it's reputable. I think I'm going to do that in Belize. And again, I'm not a scuba diver, but if you are, there's no better place than Belize.
Mm.
Um, and then, so that's on the 31st. So then I'm sure I can envision all these New Year's Eve parties or whatever. And then on January the 1st, we're in Cozumel. So again, scuba diving, anything you can think of in Cozumel, beaches, beautiful beaches, whatever that may be. Other shore excursions, like I said, I know there's Mayan ruins on the list that I
Mm.
saw. So there's different things for, again, whatever your tastes are, there's something for everybody. And then January 2nd, we're back at sea, and then you come back to Fort Lauderdale on the 3rd.
Wow, that's super cool. And not
Yeah.
too extended. So budget wise, it's going to be a little bit better on the wallet, right? To start the new year and you know.
It is, and again, I have. Let me see. I have rooms. I have different variety rooms, and of course, each type of room has a different price point. So like I said, if you really want to treat yourself and Merry Christmas to you or Happy New Year to you, I do have mini suite. And mini suites, you got the balcony. You have
We want
usually a
that.
separate sitting area, that type of thing. A deluxe balcony is basically, you have your a private balcony. You've got a sofa bed. So in some of these rooms, although, like I said, when I travel and I know it's a little bit pricier, I like it just to be for two people.
Hmm.
Can you sleep more than two people in a lot of these rooms? Absolutely. And so say, you and another couple want to go and you don't mind sharing the room, you split it four ways. So, or double, per couple, whatever you want to do. So there's different ways because most of like the suites and whatnot will have a sofa bed that will turn into a bed. It's all in close confines and how close you want to hang out
Mm.
with people. And, if you're somebody really close and you're looking for a really nice room, but you want to be budget conscious, then, you make some sacrifices and you share your room with somebody and, there's
Yeah.
enough rooms for four people. And of course,
Well,
the
it could be
price of the
family.
room. Yeah.
It could
So
be family or, it's, sometimes girlfriends getaways too, where,
yeah. Oh yeah.
that's, four ladies don't mind bunking up. Maybe they know each other really
Correct.
well. And, it's because, there's a lot of women that travel like single women, that don't want to
Yes.
be, to me, if it's a girls getaway, this is kind of being on a cruise ship may have some extra safety to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, that,
And of
you can,
course there is a particular cruise line that their claim, I guess their claim to fame, whatever, is it's an adult only. So, you don't have the kids running around
hmm
or very, they're adults only. So it's kind of got a more of a party vibe kind of thing along with everything else. So, there's a cruise line for everybody. I mean, you can go through, I mean, I don't have to name them all, but I mean, just off the top of my head, you've got MSC, who I sailed with in January. The one that's coming up in December is Princess. You've got Celebrity. You've got Holland America. You've got Carnival. You've got all these different, and again, economy, contemporary,
hmm
or if you really want to go luxury, which those travelers are generally going to be on the older side where they have more disposable income. Their kids are grown, they've had their careers, they saved their money. And those are the folks that are going to want to go on the more luxury kind of cruise. I mean, I'd love to
Hmm.
go on a luxury cruise. Not quite there yet. You can go on a river cruise. This is again one of my goals is you could go on the river cruises in Europe or even here in America, the Mississippi, the bigger rivers. You can go on a river cruise and those ships are much smaller, obviously because they have to go through the river waterways. And be able to pull into much smaller ports. But, like I said, there's a cruise ship for a cruise ship, a cruise line for anybody. Now, I know some of people that they will only sail on one particular cruise line. They've tried a couple through the years and they just like the amenities and of a
Hmm.
particular cruise line, which is great. Because all cruise lines have a loyalty program. And of course, the more you sail with them, the higher your amenity points are. And so if you have loyalty points, you get all kinds of perks
Even
when
if they're going through
so
a travel advisor, they still get all that because
absolutely.
that was something I think people may think of. Oh, well, if I'm booking through her, am I still booking through like Princess or you know what I
Oh,
mean? If I'm going through it,
absolutely.
okay, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
that's
you,
another,
you still get your
yeah.
loyalty points. So you still get your loyalty points. The only thing you would need to provide your travel advisor is obviously if you've used another travel agent or you've done it yourself, most people will have set up a loyalty account, even if they've only cruised once, because, you might as well get credit for it. So, you decide to use a travel advisor, that's great. Basically, that would just be the loyalty number you would have to provide to your agent for you to get credit for whatever cruises you do. Like I said, I know some people that, no, I only sail on Celebrity. Okay, that's fine. I
Hmm.
only sail on Royal Caribbean. Okay, that's fine too. It's all about what you like. And that's, I guess, the biggest thing that I hope people take away from this. There's something for everybody. There's something
Mm.
for people with kids. You can go on a Disney cruise with kids and the kids will love it. You can go on any cruise line. Well, I won't say any. Most cruise lines have kids areas. I mean, that are really pretty cool. On the one that I was on in January, the kids aren't ever, like they're rarely with their parents. They're off playing because, they have them for different age groups. So if you have toddlers, if you have young teens, like the tweens, and the teenagers, they have their own little quote unquote nightclub where they just go and hang. And it's like, bye mom, see ya. And you don't see them all day.
Cool.
So yeah, there's something for everybody. Even the ones that are budget friend, that are like, oh, I can't really afford, a long cruise. I got two kids, whatever. They make 3-day cruises. They make weekend cruises. So, you want to take your kids, you want to expose your kids to a cruise, but you don't have a ton of money to play with, then go on a 3 or 4 day cruise. It gets the kids have stuff to do. It's short. It's not, obviously, the more days you spend it, on a cruise ship, the
Hmm.
higher the cost is going to be.
Sure.
So there's a lot of weekend cruises. And if you happen to live in or around Florida and you can be at one of these, that's obviously where most of the ports are, is in Florida. Galveston is becoming a real big cruise port here in the Southeast and on the East Coast. New York, Boston. They have them all over. Like Seattle is huge for, of course, Alaska. So, I mean, and I'm actually looking at going on an Alaska cruise in 26. I'm dying to go to Alaska, and I always said the only way I'd go would be on a cruise. So that's
Mm.
what I'm working on afterward is an Alaska cruise.
Cool. 2026. Well, we can't wait to hear about
Yeah,
that. For
yeah.
this one that you're putting together, I love that we're talking about all these different ways. I mean, there's just something like you're saying for everyone and the
Hmm.
budgets. The one that you're doing at the end of the year for New Year's, going into New Year's to celebrate and
Yes.
going through the Caribbean. Um, is that more of like a family atmosphere, like, or is that a kids only? If it's Princess, it's pretty much a little bit of
It's
everything, isn't it?
it is. It's exactly a little bit everything. I am sure that I'm going to encounter the whole spectrum. I'm going to encounter probably older couples. I'm going to even solo cruisers. And the one thing that I thought was really cool is, I mean, solo cruisers and usually, sadly, unfortunately, solo cruisers usually pay a premium because, of course,
Mm,
cruise lines, they sell, by per on a basis of two. But the one thing is if you're a solo cruiser and you don't care and you've saved up and this is what you want to do, on the ship they have they have solo gatherings. So there may be 100 solo cruisers on there and they have a special activity so you can, meet people and, share experiences. Obviously a couple's going to share their experiences together, a family. But if you're a solo cruiser, you want to meet other solo cruisers. So I thought that was very well done on the part of the cruise line, is that they had special social gatherings for solo cruisers. So I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
It
I like
is, and
that.
it's and again, like you said, say, and I'm just pulling this off the top of my head. Say you're a 50-something woman, and perhaps you're a widow, but you still want to travel and do things, and you want to go on a cruise. Well, you can, and then you can meet others that may be in a similar situation, and who knows, you might strike up a lifelong friendship. So,
Yeah. And there's American cruise lines too, right? That take people on American rivers and, like through the Pacific Northwest as well. So there's
yes,
all kinds. And I know people that are retired and they typically go on cruises with other friends and they're like, no, we get
hmm
together the first night. They always have some kind of, they, they have card tournaments, things like that
yep.
because they know each other. And instead of being at each other's homes or they've got this beautiful view, and they're on a cruise to something and it's like a way to get together with other friends. They've made friends. I mean, the stories that come back from cruises are you could do a whole, TV show.
Oh, yeah,
The Love
absolutely,
Boat. Oh, there you go.
absolutely.
Can't forget the Love
I
Boat.
just think, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, there might be some people that aren't quite old enough to know what the Love Boat was, but I mean, I just think it's a great way to travel. It's all inclusive. I mean, generally speaking, I mean, you don't spend, I mean, yes, you spend money, but you don't spend cash. So pretty much you set up an account. So, and if your travel advisor has been able to secure you a credit, like I think the one in December, I know I have online credits for people, per person. So you already have, let's just say $100 that you can spend on the cruise. And depending upon what experience you take, I mean, there are some that you can get bare bones. Like the one that I'm selling right now is Princess Plus. It's so you can go to a cruise line and buy bare bones cruises but then you have to pay for your drinks and you don't have to pay for your meals. But like if you want to go to a bar and it's something a little higher end, you're going to have to pay for it. So what I did when I put these rooms together is I included the pricing for Princess Plus, which is like a mid-level. You get drinks up to a certain dollar amount. That's all included, So, obviously food. They do have specialty restaurants that may or may not be included in the group. But there's always plenty of restaurants that are included with your fare. So it's you have to know, again, I go back to what do you want? What's the experience you want? How much is your budget and where do you want to go? Those are the three key things. Anybody that's looking to cruise, those are the three key things to decide upon before you reach out to somebody. Now, for somebody that's looking, yeah, I want to go to the Caribbean, the one in December would be perfect.
Mm.
And it's again the cities you want. I mean, there are so many different Caribbean cruises, so many different European cruises, Alaska cruises. There's a cruise for everybody. I mean, I know I've said that about 18 times, but there truly is.
Well, also, I think the date that you have is when people typically have those dates off,
Yeah,
depending on their career and work. I mean, obviously everyone's different. Some of us, the holidays are, major work times and then they get to go
yeah,
on the off time and save money on that. So everything's different for each person. And I love that being like
correct.
cruising. There's, cruising for everyone, all ages, different things. And there's the excursions that go according to what you want. I want to go do the
hmm
scuba diving, but I don't know how to dive, but I'd probably find a snorkeling thing,
Yeah,
um,
they do
you know,
that. They do that too. The snorkeling.
mm,
Like I said, I am one. As you know, I'm big into history.
distilleries.
So
You did the rum.
yes,
I
I
was going to call
did.
it a
I did. That
rummery.
was cool.
There was
That
a
rum
rummery.
distillery was cool.
No, it's a rummery
But
now.
Yeah, but the Mayan ruins, I just can't tell you how excited I am that I mean, I don't know, maybe there's other people that watch, I don't, and again, I'm not trying to plug them or anything, but Josh Gates, if anybody watches that on Discovery, or maybe it might be History Channel, I don't remember, but he goes everywhere, and I kind of like to I live vicariously through all of these places that he goes. And some of my favorite episodes are when he's exploring Mayan ruins and the
Mm,
quinotes and all those, which I think is just going to be,
mm.
I can't wait. That is one of the things, the short versions, I can't wait. I'm dying to see Mayan ruins. If you stop and think how long ago the Mayans were here, it's just, to me, that is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I could rival it with going and seeing Stonehenge, I think. It's just, those are just bucket list things for me, and I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you. I want to go to Mayan ruins. I haven't done that, but I've been to ruins all over the world, and and there's nothing like it. I remember going
Right.
in Kenya, the Getty ruins. I encourage people to look at that, man. That's some crazy history, and
Oh, yeah.
it's coastal, but it was also they ate people, back in
Oh,
the day,
wow.
and so there's that history. There's also obviously slave history I mean, Africa's slave history, right?
Hmm.
Which is sad, but there's these ruins, and it's just different how they built things way back when. And I mean, I was a little teeny kid at this, but I was like, this is like something you'd find in Jungle Book, like an old ruin, but
Oh,
I
yeah. There
can't,
you go.
yeah, I was a kid, but there were flowers and vines growing all over the ruins. It was kind of tropical-ish. I don't have to go back and look at these pictures, but I have my own version in my head from as a kid. So what changes
Hmm.
in your brain, and by the way, everyone, 80s music is not classic rock. I just want to remind everyone, as we talked
Thank
about
you.
being over 50. But we do change those memories a little bit in our brain as we age, but it doesn't matter to me because it just holds dear. And it was, it's a beautiful, happy place, but there were gazillions of butterflies, snakes, not
Oh,
always the ones that you want to see in the wild, but we didn't care. And monkeys, a lot of vervet monkeys. And in fact, we went to go and leave, and a vervet monkey jumped in the car and stole my sandwich and
oh
looked at
my God,
me,
that's too
opened it
funny.
up, and started eating it. And I'm like, Mommy, he took my sandwich. She goes, but look, it's cool, man. And I'm like, no, it's not. I want my
You gotta
sandwich.
love Nancy.
Yeah, but it was really cool. And he was in the back seat, and he looked at me and he gave me this look of, ha ha, I got your sandwich. It's funny. So,
That's,
these kind of things, I don't know, but there's this feeling. And I remember as a kid just going, ooh, something went down. Like I wasn't old enough to understand, you
hmm.
know, that kind of history because it was, and Africa's like that. And I think, even when you go to some of these places like Cozumel and, there's this just stuff went down, right? And it's not always
Yeah.
history is not always pretty. I know you and I are both history lovers but it's so important to experience it and feel it. But Africa and like where you're going, it's this really intense history, beautiful cultures, but
Hmm.
then on top of it, it is also, amazing because I just feel like there's this intense beauty. As intense as the beauty, the heavier the history. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like,
No, I agree. I mean, you gotta, if you stop and think, everybody's like, oh, United States, we back 200 years or 200 and whatever it is years. We're so young. I mean, if you stop and think about the Mayan people and the Mayan ruins, those buildings and those ruins have stood for how many thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. It's just, and walls talk. I mean, when you're talking that long history, and I'm sure you experienced it at Kenya. Just out of curiosity, have you ever been to Stonehenge?
no, but we've been, God, we might have, didn't, if it, I hate to say this, I would probably remember. Um, yeah, because we went and did all the castles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that has some weird history vibes. I love the
Well,
castles.
that's
Um,
I mean, if
But
you stop and think, buildings, I do believe buildings retain, you can get
energy.
feel when you walk into an ancient castle or an ancient ruin, I think you can just feel the history. I know that sounds
Well,
really
yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
It
go to
sounds
Chaco.
weird, but you can just feel it.
Go to Chaco in northern New Mexico, Chaco Canyon,
Oh,
Chaco
wow.
Cultural National Historical Park. So there's these celestial sites, and they're perfect circles. They're like kivas, but like obviously they're all perfect circles from way back when.
Hmm.
How the hell did they make perfect
Wow.
circles, right? And so
Right.
this is ceremonial sites for the solstice and equinox. It's also a dark sky national park unit. From the National Park Service. It's not a national park, but it's a historical park. Gorgeous. And then they've got, petroglyphs and things like that. But the way these are done, I'm like, there's some of the petroglyphs and some of it they look like aliens. I mean, you go through Utah and you look at some of the petroglyphs.
Yeah.
There's some that I'm going, dudes. I mean,
Some
something like, where is this
something was
going?
here.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I mean,
so, yeah, but I love that stuff. And it's like, that is going to, and then, you go down a rabbit hole of history, which is fun, but then you get on a cruise ship and have a cocktail and talk with others. And some people may have read something more than you and you saw something they missed,
hmm
that's that beauty of travel that way is you can go as
Yep.
solo as you want and then as much as you want with people. Like
Yes.
there's going to be that time where I'm just going to go sit in my room and watch the water and hope I see a whale or something, but watch the water and be away from people for a bit. And then we'll be like, hey, let's go party, but
Yep.
I want that personal time. So I think that's what's really cool about what you're doing is having
Yeah.
those
It,
tailored moments that you can do what you want
yeah.
when you want. Mm.
Exactly. And for a week, or however long you decide to cruise for, generally speaking, you're not on your computer, you're not thinking about work, you're just chilling and relaxing and enjoying a different part of the world than you normally see. And I don't
Mm.
care if it's in the United States, if it's internationally, wherever it is. You're going somewhere to find something new or to meet new people or to just do things. And that's the advantage in both, not just the travel advisor, but travel writing. I mean, it's always to me when I'm writing so interesting to talk to people and just listen to them and hear their story because some of it is absolutely amazing. I mean, depending on the people you talk to, and especially if you seek out the unusual things and then you just listen to the stories of these people. It's that to me is what I find the coolest part of what I do as far as both an advisor and as a writer is just finding those stories. I think it's great.
I love it. I love it. Well, everyone, I want you to know the links are in the episode notes. We got the Spotify music playlist, which is growing. Can I add an extra Bob Marley in there? Do you mind? Like if I just
Absolutely.
add,
You you can add as many Bob Marleys as
okay.
you want.
All right. I got the Bob Marleys. You know what? We're recording this, the day before and it's Marley Monday, y'all. Just saying it's Marley
There we
Monday.
go.
I think I'll be doing that for the rest of the day. But also, there's a link to Lisa's page on her travel advisor website that talks about the cruise, coming up. So I'm going to link to that. I'm also going to link to last time's when we did the podcast, not in Portland, but the time before, talking about her adventures in the Bahamas. So I'll link to that, and that will so you can hear that, and also links to some stories she did. So lots in the episode notes wherever you're listening. Check that out. So. And we'll be back next month. We've always got something cool to chat with you. I love this podcast, Lisa. It's so much fun because, we always
I
go,
know.
okay,
And
we're,
next,
we're going to keep this short and sweet. And look what happened. We're talking
yeah.
Mayans and, we're people that eat people and cannibals.
And
There it
and
is.
you're gonna
That's the word.
you're gonna love next month because we're gonna go on the Mississippi Blues Trail.
Oh boy. Oh, listen, did you see Shamika Copeland yet?
Not yet. That's in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to take your suggestion and the caftan that I bought in the Bahamas that I said I had no idea where I was going to wear, but I loved it. You suggested I wear it to the concert, and
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what I'm going to
I'm
do.
I'm going to be
And
watching for you. I want footage from this. I want Stephen Captain. We want pictures. We want video clips on Facebook. Like seriously, I'm a little
so
jealous,
yeah,
you know.
that's in like 2 weeks. I'm going to see Shamika Copeland. So by the next time, by our next episode, I'll include how that went, as well as and I've done a lot of some articles and pictures and been different places on the Blues Trail. So I think that'll be fun.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that music playlist is going to be, uh-oh, it's going to go big.
Yeah, we might have to trim it down. There's probably gonna be so many.
Oh my, but it's so cool. Well, Shamika's going in there because she's coming to see you. You're going to go see
Yeah,
her.
yep, she's gonna
So
be ground
we can
zero.
get
I
away
can't
with it.
wait.
Yeah. And,
Can't
yeah,
wait.
I'm in, yeah, I'll get my book out to my Mississippi Blues Trail book and get
There you go.
prepared. Oh yeah, I'll be prepared. Yep, this is cool. I'm excited. I love it. I love the blues and the Mississippi region. That's everyone again. Lisa's got a great book out as well. 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You Die. I'm going to put that link in there too, because that will help as well when you think about planning going to Mississippi. Lisa loves coastal Mississippi, moved down from New York, and now we're going to do the Blues Trail. So super cool, Lisa. Thank you so much. Have fun at the concert, and we'll chat with you soon.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Journey Jukebox with travel writer and author and travel advisor Lisa Evans. Keep up with Lisa at writerlisa.com and follow bigblendradio.com for new episodes every third Tuesday.